All right, it's time to dive into one of my more anticipated albums of the year. I was really looking forward to this one, and this is one of the few cases where it met and even maybe exceeded all of my expectations. So, with that little caveat, let's dive into this one. Sirin, or Sirin, by Marjana Semkina. So Marjana, or Marjana, I'm so sorry, Marjana, I wish I knew how to pronounce your name. I'm sure you'll correct me in the comments. She is one of two artists from I Am the Morning. She also has her hand within the artist of Mir, and I absolutely fell in love with I Am the Morning. Her work with Gleb Clyodian, again, I wish I knew how to pronounce these names properly. I'm so sorry. I absolutely fell in love. It's very moody. It's very haunting. It's very atmospheric. You know, there's not a whole lot of tangibility, but it's vibes. You know, it sets the mood just exactly where it needs to be. And I've always kind of kept my eye on Marjana and Gleb's work. And when Marjana came on kind of her own side project a couple of years ago with Sleepwalking, I gobbled it up. You know, it was one of my favorite records from 2020. It really did help set the mood for that year. And I just absolutely you know, everything about it, the aesthetics, the very romanticizing, the pre-Raphaelite style of painting, the mosaics of music. You know, I can wax and wane all the different good stuff about these records. But let's just talk about Sirin. The follow-up, the sophomore, and I'm always a little hesitant, you know, whenever it comes to a sophomore, because are we going to run into a sophomore slump? Are we going to run into, you know, a little bit more overindulgence? Is there going to be not quite enough oomph about it? But honestly, all of my fears were kind of left to the wayside with the two singles of We Are the Ocean and Pygmalion. Both these records set all of my worries aside, and when I got into this record, I absolutely loved it. The type of music that we're dealing with is, as I mentioned, very moody, very atmospheric. It's very intimate as well. You know, like I'm picturing very atmospheric, pre-Raphaelite types of mosaics within the paintings. You know, like this could be the soundtrack to The Drowning of Ophelia. This could be the soundtrack to so many of those really dark but luscious paintings around that time. And I absolutely, like, there's a part of my soul that absolutely gravitates and loves that style of music. You can definitely tell that Marjana is really dealing with some really big things, you know, coming from Russia and having to establish herself within the UK over all this, you know, political upheaval that's currently going on within Russia and Ukraine, where Russia is just trying to, like, essentially decimate Ukraine at the moment. And maybe that's not such a good thing. Maybe they're committing a couple war crimes and that's not a good thing. It deals with some really, really heavy concepts, but they do it in such a beautiful and haunting way. You know, if I were to put one big nomicker on this record, it would be beautifully haunting. And that's, you know, what Marjana is all about. Her vocal works are some of my absolute favorites. She's channeling like the Heather Finleys of the past, but modernizing it here. You know, it's very folky. It's very homegrown in that sense, you know, but still you have this bit of polish upon it. You know, it's not just the rough and gruff kind of styling. You have a lot of that home-baked flavors within it. And the songs are just beautiful. As I mentioned, the Pygmalion is just a hauntingly beautiful treat that I absolutely love. The album itself opens up with the We Are the Ocean that I get just swept away with. The beauty and the atmosphere just swallows me up. I think my two favorite songs, though, are the back-to-back of Gone and Death and the Maiden. You know, it almost provides these three-act suites. The first act being Gone, being the bigger of these. I love the utilizations of the piano work with the guitar work, you know, with Gleb being the second half of I Am the Morning, providing most of the instrumentation. She's still utilizing that core concept, but she's kind of evolving beyond that by also including the acoustic guitar and the violins and more of like an orchestration about that. So we have a lot more layering that's found on this. And within Death and the Maiden, we do have this 2-act suite that has this grounding of the first act that then is able to be built upon and played out within the second half. And that second half is probably my favorite moment within music, maybe of this year. I love how it builds itself up. And this is what I love about progressive rock music. It allows itself to build up. It allows itself to really blossom and bloom into something very exciting and very creative. I love where this track goes, and I love how it really finds itself. It plays within the space, and I kept finding myself returning to this track, and once the track ended, going right back to the beginning and listening to it all the way through again, then going back to the beginning and listening to it all the way through. The final 3 tracks of The Storm, Swan Song, and This Silence, This Dreaming does a great job of rounding off this record. It provides more of that haunting, beautiful aspect without being derivative, without being redundant or repetitive. There's always some new nook or cranny that Marjana is playing with and discovering and really molding to her own sensibilities. And I thought that this was an absolute treat. So nothing but good things to say about this record. I love the actual runtime. For the style that we've got on this record, you don't want to push your luck too much. So 43 minutes, 44 minutes is the exact bite-sized chunk that you need for this kind of a record, because any more I would find myself kind of drifting off. I would find myself getting bored. I would find myself moving on, but it's a bite-sized chunk that I really agree to. 10 tracks are the perfect length for this. And yeah, I think Marjana really hit a home run with this one. So yeah, in the end, my final rating of this record would be Sirin by Marjana Semkina is one that I would absolutely pick up in physical format. Well done. This one gets the note seal of approval. I absolutely love this one. This is kind of like a run, don't walk, but also I'll caveat that I know this record isn't for everybody. This is the style of music that you really gotta, be ready for, because it is subtle. It isn't immediate. It's not beating over their head with these big grand crescendos, the meaty licks, the big guitar stuff. It doesn't have any kind of big accessible pop licks on it. But if you give it the opportunity to blossom and grow, it's an album that will continuously reward you. So I loved it. Go and check it out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed, so long as you know what you're getting into. So that's what I've got for Sirin from Marjana Semkina. What did you guys think about this record? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, please let me know by commenting down below. And I'm going to leave you there. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.